Daily Bible Thought continues Genesis chapter 3 with verses 20 through 24. And this finishes the first 3 chapters of Genesis. And I don't plan to continue. If I have requests, maybe I will. But it's like if you get into Genesis 5 through 9, you have the flood. There's a lot of different great stories in Genesis. So, we could do the whole thing, but that will skip around a little bit after this. But this finishes off the end of the curses, the end of that whole dramatic story of Adam and Eve's choice to go against God's standard. And that's what sin is. Sin is missing the mark. Sin literally means to miss the target on a bullseye, to not hit it where it's supposed to hit. And so that's true. When we come to the realization that God set a standard and we can't hit it, we can't reach that standard. I can't live perfectly. I'm a sinner. I'm a standard misser. I'm a target off a little. And I'd be actually off a lot if I tried to do bullseye kind of arrow stuff. Bows and arrow, that kind of thing. Archery, that's what it's called. I digress. Let's go to Genesis 3, 20 through 24. Then the man, Adam, named his wife Eve, because she would be the mother of all who live. And the Lord God made clothing from animal skins for Adam and his wife. Then the Lord God said, "Look, the human beings have become like us, knowing both good and evil. What if they reach out, take fruit from the tree of life, and eat it? Then they will live forever." So the Lord God banished them from the Garden of Eden, and he sent Adam out to cultivate the ground from which he had been made. After sending them out, the Lord God stationed mighty cherubim, angels, to the east of the Garden of Eden, and he placed a flaming sword that flashed back and forth to guard the way to the tree of life. Okay, so here's the big question. Why? Why did he kick him out of the garden? Why was he concerned that they both knew good and evil and there's the tree of life is standing right there? And he's got this sword flashing back and forth so they can't go to the tree of life. Why? Why is that such a big deal? Well, in what state were Adam and Eve at this point? They were in the state of sin. They had rejected God's standard and gone their own way. They'd done their own thing. So they couldn't be with God. If they had eaten of the tree of life, they would stay like that for all of eternity. And that was not God's plan. God's plan is that we would be with him for all of eternity. So he protected Adam and Eve from eating of the tree of life. The tree of life is still around. It's going to be in heaven. And we will get to live forever with him if we ask Jesus into our lives and we decide to follow him. So go back, read Genesis 1, 2, and 3, kind of review it, find out what it said, and then put into practice the idea that we want to live according to God's standard. And read more of the Old and New Testament to find out what that means.